I was received a beautiful bicycle as a birthday present. One day, when I took a ride on my bicycle in the park, a boy was walking around the bicycle, admiring it. "Is this your bicycle?" he asked. "My brother gave it to me on my birthday," I replied with pride and satisfaction. "Oh, I wish," he hesitated. Of course I knew that he was going to wish for. He was going to wish he had a brother like that. But what the boy said was unexpected to me. I wish, the boy went on slowly, that I could be a brother like that. I saw his face full of determination. Then he went to the bench behind me, where his little crippled brother was sitting, and said, "Someday I'm gonna give you a wheelchair on your birthday."
Okay.
It was a sunny Saturday afternoon in Oklahoma City. I and my friend was taking his two little boys to an entertainment club. My friend walked up to the man at the ticket counter and said, "How much is it to get in?" "I'd like 4 tickets." The young man replied, "3 tickets for you and 3 tickets for any kid who is older than 6. We let them in free if they are 6 or younger." "How old are they?" My friend replied, "This boy is 7 and the younger one is 4. So I guess I owe you $9. The man at the ticket counter looked at him surprisingly, then said, "You could have saved yourself $3. You could have told me that the older one was 6. I wouldn't have known the difference." I wouldn't have known the difference. My friend Sophie replied, "Yes, that may be true, but the kids would have known the difference. I don't want to sell my honesty and the respect for my children with only $3.
Okay.
I had a great feeling of relief when I began to understand that a youngster needs more than just subject matter at school. I know mathematics well, and I teach it well. I used to think that was all I need to do. Now I teach children all subjects, not only math. I accept the fact that I can only succeed partially with some of them. I seem to have more answers than when I tried to be the expert. The youngster who really made me understand this was Eddie. I asked him one day why he thought he was doing so much better than last year. He gave meaning to my whole new orientation. "It's because I like myself now when I'm with you," he said. Their little eyes upon you, and they are watching night and day. Their little ears that quickly take in every word you say. Their little hands and all eager to do anything you do. And a little boy who's dreaming of the day he'll be like you. You're the little fellow's idol. You are the wisest of the wise. In his little mind about you no suspicions ever rise. He believes in you devoutly, holds all you say and do. He will say and do in a way when he's grown up like you. They are wide-eyed little fellow who believes you are always right, and his eyes are always open, and he watches day and night. You are setting an example every day in all you do to grow up to be like you. Two brothers worked together on the family farm. One was married and had a large family. The other was single. At the day's end, the brothers shared everything equally, produce and profit. Then one day, the single brother said to himself, "It's not right that we should share equally the produce and the profit. I'm alone and my needs are simple." So each night, he took a sack of grain from his bin and crept across the field between their houses, dumping it into his brother's bin. Meanwhile, the married brother said to himself, "It's not right that we should share the produce and the profit equally. After all, I'm married and I have my wife and my children to look after me in years to come. My brother has no one and no one to take care of his future." So each night he took a sack of grain and dumped it into his single brother's bin. Both men were puzzled for years because their supply of grain never dwindled. Then one dark night, the two brothers bumped into each other. Slowly it dawned from them what was happening. They dropped their sacks and embraced each one another.
Đọc lại đi. Em phải tỉnh, bắt đầu chúng mình quay đi.
Two brothers worked together on the family farm. One was married and had a large family. The other was single. At the day's end, the brothers shared everything equally, produce and profit. Then one day, the single brother said to himself, "It's not right that we should share equally the produce and the profit. I'm alone and my needs are simple." So each night he took a sack of grain from his bin and crept across the field between their houses, dumping it into his brother's bin. Meanwhile, the married brother said to himself, "It's not right that we should share the produce and the profit equally. After all, I'm married and I have my wife and my children to look after me in years to come. My brother had no one and no one to take care of his future." So each night he took a sack of grain and dumped it into his single brother's bin. Both men were puzzled for years because their supply of grain never dwindled. Then one dark night, the two brothers bumped into each other. Slowly it dawned on them what was happening. They dropped their sacks and embraced one another. On the Thanksgiving Day, a school teacher asked the class of first graders to draw a picture of something they were thankful for. She would know how little these poor children actually had to be thankful for. She thought that most of them would draw pictures of turkeys or tables with food. However, the teacher was taken aback with the picture Douglas handled in a simple childishly drawn hand. But why and whose hand Douglas drew? The class was captivated by the abstract image. "I think it must be the hand of God that brings us food," said one child. "A farmer," said another, "because he grows the turkeys." Finally, when the others were at work, the teacher bent over Douglas' desk and asked whose hand it was. "It's your hand, teacher," he mumbled. She recalled that frequently at recess, she had taken Douglas, a reserved, lonely child, by the hand. She often did that with the children, but it meant so much to Douglas. Perhaps this was everyone's Thanksgiving, not for the material things given to us, but for the chance, in whatever small way, to give to others. President Abraham Lincoln often visited hospitals to talk with wounded soldiers during the Civil War. Once, doctors pointed out a young soldier who was near death, and Lincoln went over to his bedside. "Is there anything I can do for you now?" asked the president. The soldier obviously didn't recognize Lincoln, and with some effort, he was able to whisper, "Would you please write a letter to my mother?" A pen and paper were provided, and the president carefully began to write down what the young man was able to say. "My dearest mother, I was badly hurt while doing my duty. I'm afraid I'm not going to recover. Don't grieve too much for me, please. Kiss Mary and John for me. May God bless you and Father." The soldier was too weak to continue, so Lincoln signed the letter for him and added, "Written for your son by Abraham Lincoln." The young man asked to see the note and was astonished when he discovered who had written it. "Are you really the president?" he asked. "Yes, I am," Lincoln replied quietly. Then he asked if there was anything else he could do. "Would you please hold my hand?" the soldier asked. "It will help to see me through to the end." In the hushed room, the tall, gaunt president took the soldier's hand in his and spoke warm words to encouragement until death came. You do not have to be your mother unless she is who you want to be. You do not have to be your mother's mother, or your mother's mother's mother, or even your grandmother's mother on your father's side. You may inherit their chins or the shapes on their eyes, but you are not destined to become the woman who came before you. You are not destined to live their lives. So if you inherit something, inherit their strength, their resilience, because the only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. President Calvin Coolidge once invited friends from his hometown to dine at the White House. Worried about their table manners, the guests decided to do everything that Coolidge did. This stringery succeeded until coffee was served. The president poured his coffee into the saucer. The guests did the same. Coolidge added sugar and cream. His guests did too. Then Coolidge bent over and put his saucer on the floor for his cat. A little girl was suffering from a rare and serious disease. Her only chance of recovery appeared to be a blood transfusion from her 5-year-old brother, who had miraculously survived the same disease because he had developed the antibodies needed to combat the illness. The doctor explained the situation to her little brother and asked him whether he was ready to transfer blood. He hesitated for only a moment, then took a deep breath and said, "Yes, I'll do it if it will make my sister healthy." As the transfusion processed, he lay in a bed next to his sister. He smiled at seeing the color returning to her cheeks. Then his face grew pale and his smile faded. He looked up at the doctor and asked with a trembling voice, "Will I start to die right away? Please save my dear sister." Being young, the boy has misunderstood the doctor. He thought he was going to have to give her all his blood.